All right, thanks for joining me today. Real quick, I just got to put this out there. So again, I'm not a professional in any aspect of this. I'm new to making YouTube videos. I'm new to doing video in general. And I'm nervous as hell. I'm making a lot of mistakes. And so I appreciate your patience. And hopefully you enjoy the content that I'm making. And hopefully I continue to get better and grow at it. But with that said, let's jump right into it. If you remember in the last episode, we had prepped this stock using the Bondo glazing and spot putty, and this stuff worked a lot better than the marine putty or the marine JB Weld that I used. This stuff sticks really, really well. It's easy to sand, it's easy to work with, as long as you don't layer it too heavy. In the last video, you saw that I made some repairs on the butt stock end where I had some scratches, some gouges here, and some major reform to this area where I built it up and got rid of the ugly mold lines that were there. Since we last saw each other, I went ahead and painted the base coat. Just couldn't find time to make the video part of it, but I wanted to keep the progress going. So you're just gonna have to trust me. It took about 3 or 4 coats, slowly building it up, knocking it down in between each coat with that 3M between the coats sanding pads. And these things are awesome. So again, a recap, really light dusting with these things just to knock down any high rough spots and kind of scratch up the coat before it to give a base. And then I will do the same thing between every one of these coats that we're doing. So I also went ahead and made a cheat sheet, and I kind of recommend that. It kind of helps me keep track of where I am and what my plan is. So I made a little cheat sheet that kind of gives me kind of just a breakdown of all the steps, so I make sure I don't miss anything, and I'm, kind of following the plan that I had. As I had originally planned this to be a few days, we're, a couple of weeks into it because of life. So yeah, so we've got the prep and the base coat done. Today we're gonna do kind of the macro blocks, the bigger chunks of the camo paint. And my goal today is to get 2 colors on. And I did put these out in order. So if you'll remember, we've got the matte coffee, we've got the matte gray, the moss green, the matte black, the matte white, and we're gonna finish it up with the flat clear. And so today our goal is to get the matte brown or the matte coffee bean, and the matte deep gray on. We're looking for about 40% coverage. We don't want to cover the entire thing. We just want kind of some different textures and some different patterns throughout the entirety of the rifle stock. And really sounds counterintuitive, but I really want it to kind of be uneven. I don't want it to be consistent. I want it to, just like in nature, I just want it to break up the pattern. So I'm going to just jump right into doing it, and I'll stop if I have anything to say, but I'm really trying to keep this video more about the work and less about me talking. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, so this has had some time to dry. It's been probably a little over an hour, and we are, just ignore that. We are just gonna take the 3M, what they call the between the coats pad. It's the equivalent to maybe a little rougher than a 4/0, so probably around a 3/0, and literally just light wipes, just knocking high spots down. That's all I'm doing. And this works really well. I just want to go over everything until I knock the sheen off the surface. Just trying to take the sheen down, and that tells me that I've hit it enough. I'm not going to go any more than that. A nice finish to it. And then after that, I'm going to just do a little bit of denatured alcohol again, very, very lightly. Again, I don't want to disturb the paint job at all or smear anything that I've done, so really, really light with the denatured alcohol. Light wipes, take the powder off that I just created, and that's it. And it is starting to lift color a little bit, so that's it. I don't want to go over it any more than that, otherwise it's going to soften that paint and create problems. And I'll let that dry, and then we're going to move on to the Spanish moss. Now my goal with the Spanish moss is I only want to just touch around the edges. I don't want to go over it heavy. I don't want big sections of the Spanish moss. It's more like highlights around the edges of what I just did. I'm going to try to use the round sponge and literally just kind of roll like this around the edges. We'll see how that starts. And if I don't like it, we'll try something else. So hang with me, and I'm going to get set up and we'll be right back. Okay, so there's that Spanish moss. It's really a dark green, which is what I was going for. And we're going to just maybe try to roll it on. Something like that. I don't want real consistent patterns with it. Something like this. And I don't know if I love that. I don't like that sponge. So we're just going to shift it up. We're going to use this sponge and go with a different spot. Try that. Let's see what happens here. That's much better. More mottled. Like I've said several times, this is a learning curve for me. I have no expectations. Wow, it absorbs in the plate. You know, I got these Chinette plates because they were cheap, but they're kind of absorbing my paint, and I'm not loving that. Okay, let's see how that looks. Tell me what you think here. I see a couple of bare spots. What I'll probably do, let this all dry, and then I'll come back, and I've got some open pattern areas that I want to hit a little more, so I'll probably come back and do those. But for now, I'm going to call this good. And figure out how to set this where it's not going to affect the paint too much here. Something like that. Well, folks, I'm not entirely sure what happened, but the audio cut out when I recorded this part. So I decided to do a quick voiceover. I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you come back for part 3 where I finish the rifle and put it all together.